Global reaction. Why rumors of Princess Leonor and Prince Nicolas took the world by storm. The world thought it recognized the moment. The posture. The glance. The silence that followed. When Princess Leonor appeared beside Prince Nicolas, cameras didn't just capture images, they captured a question Spain was not prepared to answer. Everyone expected another routine royal appearance. Another carefully planned diplomatic moment. Another composed future queen doing exactly what history demands of her. But that's not what people saw. Because something didn't fit. And once the first clip went viral, the narrative spiraled faster than the palace could contain. Here's the part nobody expected: there was no announcement. No correction. No denial. Just silence. And in royal history, silence is never empty. In the hours that followed, Spanish media lit up. European outlets followed. International headlines danced carefully around one phrase, unconfirmed but impossible to ignore. So what really happened? And why did the world react like this wasn't just speculation, but a preview of something already set in motion? At the center of it all stood Princess Leonor. Calm, grounded, unmoved by the storm she may have quietly ignited. To understand why these rumors shook Spain so deeply, you have to understand where Leonor stands right now. In 2025, she is no longer the future someday. She is the active heir. Militarily trained, constitutionally sworn, strategically visible. Every step she takes now is measured not only as personal presence, but as national signal. This is why the appearance mattered. Observers immediately noticed how different her energy felt. Not distracted, not guarded, but assured, as if she already knew how the world would interpret the moment, and allowed it anyway. Next to her, Prince Nicolas didn't behave like a passing acquaintance or diplomatic figure. He stood with quiet familiarity. Not overreaching, not performative, almost practiced. That single detail is what lit the fuse. Royal reporters began replaying footage frame by frame. Social media analysts compared body language. Protocol experts debated proximity rules. And then the questions started stacking. Why now? Why there? Why together? And most importantly, why hasn't the palace spoken? It's important to say this clearly: there has been no confirmed marriage. No official engagement. No royal statement declaring anything beyond appearance and cooperation. But history teaches us something uncomfortable. When European royal houses deny rumors, they do it quickly. When they correct misinformation, they do it clearly. But when they are preparing the public, they wait. This waiting creates space. And that space filled with speculation faster than anyone could control. Spain, in particular, reacted emotionally. For many citizens, the idea of Leonor choosing stability, alliance, and composure over spectacle felt comforting. Others worried about precedent, expectation, and pressure. And that tension is not accidental. Princess Leonor has always represented balance, duty without coldness, youth without impulsiveness. Which is why this moment hit differently. Because it didn't look impulsive. It looked considered. Some analysts pointed out something even more subtle. This wasn't the first time Leonor and Nicolas had crossed paths. Previous international events, shared ceremonial spaces, familiar greetings, calm recognition, nothing loud, nothing romantic for cameras, just continuity. And continuity is where speculation turns serious. Royal history is filled with moments that were ignored at the time, until they weren't. Moments that only made sense after announcements came. But here's the twist many missed. King Philippe's response wasn't alarm. Queen Letitia's demeanor wasn't defensive. And Queen Sophia's presence added another layer entirely. She has lived through royal transitions, scrutiny, and public judgment more than anyone alive in that family. Her subtle approval, visible only to those who know how to read it, fueled the belief that this wasn't chaos. It was calibration. International reaction followed quickly. Foreign media framed it not as scandal, but strategic positioning. Commentators asked whether Europe was quietly watching a new generation form alliances differently, less through contracts, more through compatibility and shared public trust. And that question matters, because Princess Leonor is inheriting a Spain that wants transparency, stability, and emotional intelligence from its monarchy. Any future partnership must strengthen that, not endanger it. Which brings us to the most overlooked detail of all. Leonor didn't try to control the narrative. She didn't hide. She didn't retreat. She continued her schedule as planned. That choice speaks louder than any denial. It tells us this: whatever the truth is, it is not something she fears. And in modern monarchy, fear is the first thing leaders work to erase. Whether these rumors fade, evolve, or eventually transform into something official remains unknown. But one reality is now undeniable. Princess Leonor has entered a phase where every personal decision carries national weight. And the world is no longer just watching her grow, it's watching her lead. Sometimes history doesn't announce itself with crowns and ceremonies. Sometimes it begins with a moment people can't stop replaying. And a silence that refuses to explain itself. The silence didn't break. And that, more than any headline, became the story. Inside Spain, conversations shifted from, "Is it true?" to something far more revealing: "What if it is?" Because when a future queen reaches this level of visibility, speculation stops being gossip and starts becoming a mirror of national emotion. Royal historians began reminding viewers of a pattern many had forgotten. Spain's monarchy has always prepared the public before it prepares the palace. Familiarity first, calm second, formality last. That's why the body language mattered. Not affection, not performance, but ease. Leonor didn't scan the room for cameras. She didn't adjust her posture when lenses moved closer. She remained centered, present, composed, the same way she does during military ceremonies and constitutional addresses. To some, that composure felt reassuring. To others, unsettling. Because composure suggests confidence, and confidence suggests choice. Another detail quietly stirred debate: security protocol. Observers noticed adjustments that weren't standard for casual encounters. Nothing dramatic, but enough to suggest planning rather than coincidence. If this was random, it was unusually prepared. If it was intentional, it was remarkably restrained. And restraint is Leonor's signature. Public response split along generational lines. Younger Spaniards read the moment as modern, balanced, human. Older audiences searched for precedent, structure, reassurance. Both sides agreed on one thing: this did not feel reckless. International outlets began reframing their language. Rumor became developing interest. Speculation became watch closely. Because once monarchy becomes calm about curiosity, curiosity deepens. Still, the palace holds its line. No confirmation, no correction, and every day that passes without comment transforms the story from question to expectation. But here's the quiet truth no headline can capture. Princess Leonor doesn't need to announce the future to shape it. Her presence already does that. Whatever lies ahead, alliance, partnership, or simply a misunderstood moment, she remains exactly where Spain needs her to be: steady, deliberate, and unreadable when it matters most. And sometimes, that's how history gives its first warning. Not with noise, but with a pause that refuses to end.